Welcome back to episode 4 of Actually Homeschooled. I'm your host, Milena, and I'm wearing a crew neck, but it's okay because it's strawberry shortcake. I don't usually like wearing crew necks, but it's strawberry shortcake, so that's all right. Let's get started.
Actually,
All right, so welcome back to episode 4. This week I actually have an idea of what I want to talk about. I came up with it while watching a really shitty movie, and then got the second idea just because it's something that I do. So, yeah, the first thing is I didn't know that this shitty movie I'm going to talk about was super popular or based on a video game because I don't play video games or know any of that stuff. So I had no idea that it was even a thing. And then I thought, like 10 minutes ago, I was like, let me just see if anybody else thought the movie sucked like I did. So the movie's called Uncharted. I had no idea that there's a video game called Uncharted. Didn't know it was based off a video game, but it is, for those of you that don't know, if any of you don't know. But it was trash, and I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought so. So it's with Tom Holland, the new Spider-Man, and Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark. And then some chick that I've never seen her in anything before. But I was listening to this other podcast, and one of the guys goes, I love how they do like someone super famous, and then like some chick. Because they do that a lot in movies. So in this movie, Marky Mark, Tom Holland, and some chick with an accent. And now that I know that it's based off a video game, I understand the premise of it more. But the premise is, it starts out with these two young boys, brothers, and they're super into history and thievery, and it's them breaking into somebody's house to try and find a map for Magellan's lost ship or something like that. And so the whole premise is it's this kid who's trying to find Magellan's lost ship and also his brother, but then he kind of doesn't really care about finding his brother much, and then he does, and then he doesn't, because then he finds out that his brother died, I guess, is what happened. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They never really talked about that much, so I don't really know. But Mark Wahlberg plays this guy named Sully, and his character is just so like pedophilic vibe, you know? Because Tom Holland looks like a child and Mark Wahlberg looks like an adult grown man, you know? So he comes across as super creepy, and the first scene that they meet, it's like Tom Holland just stole a diamond bracelet from a super rich girl because he's a bartender, and so he stole her bracelet while she wasn't looking. And then Mark Wahlberg is sitting at a table, and he saw the theft. He saw it and says, "Nice job. Saw you do that." And then Tom Holland says, "I don't know what you're talking about. You didn't see anything. What? Huh?" And then Mark Wahlberg's like, "Yes, I did. Here's my card. Give me a call sometime because I need help thieving places." And then Tom Holland's character goes, "No, that's creepy. You have to leave the bar. We're closed now. Bye." So then Mark Wahlberg leaves, right? And then Tom Holland, at the end of his shift, he checks his pockets and, oh no, the diamond bracelet he stole is gone. But Mark Wahlberg's card is in his pocket. So creepy. And so then he goes and breaks into Mark Wahlberg's building because he's a thief and he's good at it. So they have to show you that by letting him showcase his thieving skills by stealing the keys from the doorman and breaking into the apartment and doing some parkour to get up to the apartment, you know, because he's a parkour master also. And then he goes into the apartment and Mark Wahlberg's not there, and so then he sees the diamond bracelet and then goes to steal it back, and then all of a sudden Mark Wahlberg's there, a creepy, and he goes, "Here's your diamond bracelet back. You gonna take anything else?" And then Tom Holland's like, "Yeah, sure." and then goes around the apartment and is like, this looks valuable, I'll take this. This looks pretty good too. Guess I'll take that. And Mark Wahlberg's like, anything else? And he goes, no. Which didn't make any sense to me either. So I don't know if that's a thing from the video game, but for a movie premise, did not make any sense, right? Like, what? And also Mark Wahlberg shirtless this entire scene. And there's no lights on. So also creepy. So then Mark Wahlberg goes, all right, well, if you're not going to take anything else, I guess, you don't have to help me with this mission that I need you for. And then Tom Holland's character sees a map on the wall and goes, I know this map. This is the map that Magellan used to travel the world and go around the whole world, right? And then Mark Wahlberg goes, yeah. And then Tom Holland is like, but actually, fun fact, Magellan didn't finish that trip. So-and-so did. I don't know the history. Magellan didn't finish that trip. Somebody else did. Magellan got lost, and the lost ships, and the gold, and the blah, blah, blah. And Mark Wahlberg's like, that's the thing I need you for. That's what I need you to do with me. Come on, I know your brother. And then somehow he knows his brother. It's just like, I don't know. I guess playing the video game would make it make sense, or at least I would know if any of it was accurate. It was just, if you are going to make a movie about a video game, like, make it obvious that it's about a video game. You know what I mean? Like Assassin's Creed movie, Halo movie, all of those, like, duh, obviously that's video game movie, right? But this one, I don't know how many people would know that it's based off a video game. It just seemed like a shitty movie. It was kind of like, why not just make a Dora the Explorer in real life, prequel, sequel, whatever the heck you call it, because they already did a live action Dora the Explorer. That's what it felt like. It felt like the mission was very Dora, So it was a garbage movie. I feel dumb that I wasted my time watching it, but that's what you do. I guess movies nowadays kind of suck. I have not seen a good movie since Joker came out. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've seen a good movie since Joker came out. Yeah. A lot of programmy weird bullshit in these movies nowadays that is unappealing and very hard to watch and deal with. My fiance and I went to go see a movie, very big Marvel movie that just came out a little bit ago with one of the characters played by a British actor. And that's all I'm going to say about it because I want to be cryptic. So if you figure it out, you figure it out. If you don't, you don't. But it had so much symbolism in it. There was so much one eye and so much satanic shit, and then there was a whole scene with child sacrifice, but it wasn't child sacrifice, but it totally was child sacrifice. And then there was the whole thing with certain shapes, and it's just like so gross. When we were sitting there, I don't know why we didn't just leave. We should have just left, but at the same time I wanted to see how much more shit they were going to put in it, and it was super insane. They even said the Illuminati. They were even talking about the Illuminati in this movie. So I don't know if that gives you any pointers about what movie I'm talking about, but they were talking about the council of whoever called the Illuminati. So, yeah. But they made it into a joke, and everyone else in the theater was like, oh, the Illuminati, like that even exists. Oh. It's so funny. It's hilarious. That's they would say that. Oh, that's funny joke. Yeah, not really. But, hey, that's just how I feel about stuff. My opinion is different than other people's, and that's okay. Everybody is allowed to have their own opinion and is entitled to their own opinion. And if everybody thought, hey, everybody can have their own opinion, the world would maybe run a little bit smoother. But in chaos, we thrive, so hey, So that was what I wanted to talk about, just to get it off my mind because I've been thinking about it since I watched it. And Uncharted is a garbage movie, and don't watch it unless you want to feel like a dip shit is Maximus for watching it, like I did. Or maybe you won't. Maybe you play the video game, maybe you like it. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I thought it was trash. So, actually, homeschooled opinion. trash movie, Uncharted. Boom. On a better note, a show that is really good that I've recently continued to watch and watch season 2 of is called Love on the Spectrum on Netflix. That show is so heartwarming and adorable. That show is so cute and so feel good, you know? The people, I mean, it's just, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And also season 2 is out, and you probably already knew that from a while ago. But it's such a good show. It's so heartwarming and cute and sweet and innocent, and yeah, it's cool. And it's funny because it makes me think if people not on the spectrum dated the way that people on the spectrum date, you would not spend as much time messing around with people that you didn't really like. You know, you'd just get to the point right away. And I'm like, it's just cool. It's a cool show. It's a cool feel good show. So go watch it. Other opinion, I guess this episode is just going to be me recommending good shows and movies, in my opinion, to watch and stuff to not watch, because I see my fair share of both. Alone is freaking awesome. My fiance and I just finished season 9 of Alone. That show is badass. It's a really good show. It's very cool if you're into that whole survival stuff, you know. And it's funny because when we first started watching it, he goes, I could do that. Oh, that person, they shouldn't. They're so lame for tapping out. I could do that. That's so easy. I could do that. And I'm like, have you ever done survival stuff before, though? He's like, no. I'm like, so then maybe do survival stuff before you go and say that you could do it because it's so easy. Maybe. You know? And so we just finished season 9, and because I would call him out so much, whatever he would say, that person, they shouldn't have tapped out, or, oh, that was so lame of them, or, oh, they should have known better. I'll look at him, and he'll just go, yeah, like I know. So, you know, broke that in because I made fun of him so much, so now he just calls himself out. True love, am I right? Yeah, so let's see. Alone is a good show. Love on the Spectrum is a good show. There's this new dumbass show on Netflix called How to Build a Sex Room. And it's like everywhere they're trying to push porn and make it not like porn. Like, I know that sex should be celebrated and not like, you know, thought of as being taboo. However, sex is pretty personal, and I don't really see the point in telling the whole world about your sex life or constantly talking about sex or posting things that are like porn. Like on Instagram, there's so much stuff that's just like, when I first got Instagram, first of all, it was mostly pictures, and now it is pretty much all videos. And a lot of the stuff that is posted is like borderline like porn, or having like a sex joke, or just like stuff like that, and I'm sick of seeing it. So the show on Netflix called How to Build a Sex Room, I watched the first episode, but I only watched it for like 3 minutes. I watched the whole episode pretty much in like 3 minutes because I kept on just skipping through because I was like, what the fuck is what? It's like this older British woman who would like design houses for celebrities, like design their homes or decorate their homes or something. And she got asked eventually if she'd ever built a sex room before. And she said, no, I've never built a sex room before, but that's something I could challenge myself with. And then the whole episode, it's like 2 different couples, and she's doing their sex room, and then she's doing their sex room. And it's like, this couple wants a rock and roll sex basement. And then this couple wants a romantic bedroom vibe or something. But the couple that wants the rock and roll sex basement, she's like asking them what turns them on and what gets them off and like what positions they like and stuff. And it's just like, is that stuff not personal? Like, is that stuff not something that's just for you and your partner? Like, for serious? Are we for serious right now? I feel like that stuff is for you and your partner. But that's just me, I guess. I guess now that's like a very not common opinion. And I don't really get why. Like, there's this one chick I follow on Instagram, and she just had a baby, and now her and her dude have an OnlyFans. And I get it, make money, but also she's already famous. She's like a famous twerker. So already she's doing something that's pretty sexualized. And then her and her dude now have like an OnlyFans. And I'm just like, wow. So they being whoever they are, if you're into the beliefs that I'm into, they are really trying to get everybody to just be super open and have porn be everywhere and sex be everywhere and everything out in the open. And I know in Amsterdam and Europe and probably Spain too, they do like live sex shows and stuff. But I don't know, it just feels way different and gross now to see all that, So anyways, the show, How to Build a Sex Room on Netflix, it's trash. It's garbage. Do not watch it. Personally, don't watch it. And it's this British lady, and she takes the one couple that wants the rock and roll sex basement to these kink experts, which are literally the most typical kink expert type people you would ever think. The dude and the chick look almost the same. They both kind of have like a mullet-esque hairstyle, and they're both just really odd people. They seem like they'd be nice, but they just seem odd, And so then they show the couple how to flog each other correctly. And it's just like super weird. And I'm like, this is a TV show that people are watching? Are you kidding me? Like, for reals? Since when? Since when is this a show that people are watching? So I shut it off. I shut it off after that because I was like, ugh. I was literally looking. I was like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to see this. I'm good. Good. Moving on. Then to cleanse with some stupid funny, I talk about TV so much. I'm talking about TV so much that it feels like that's all I watch. I don't only watch TV, I swear. This is a very, small amount. Okay? Whatever. Anyways. To cleanse from the shit show, I turned on this movie called Man from Toronto with Woody Harrelson and Kevin Hart. Also trash, right? It's also trash. I thought maybe Kevin Hart, Woody Harrelson, that'd be pretty funny. And there was this whole thing. I have never, before this movie, seen a scene like this. I never seen SEEN, a scene SCENE like this before, right? Woody Harrelson is supposed to be like this killer, and Kevin Hart's character is like this dude that accidentally gets mistaken for the killer. Spoiler alert. Sorry, spoiler alert. And there's this one scene where Woody Harrelson is talking to Kevin Hart in front of all these bad guys and says something, and Kevin Hart goes, that's a gendered apology or something like that, and says this whole thing about how he's not being gender inclusive and he needs to make a gender inclusive apology so that nobody's offended. And Woody Harrelson's character says, I apologize, gentle people. And I have never seen in a movie, to my knowledge, I have never seen something like that before, which was pretty interesting. Because I know this is an unpopular opinion. Again, everybody's allowed to be whatever they want, believe what you want, do what makes you happy. However, personally me, I don't agree with the whole 70 bajillion gender thing. I feel like there's two. I feel like you're born gay or you're born straight. I feel like there are men and there are women. And that's what I feel like. And sometimes people are born feeling like they were born in the wrong body. And I believe that that's the thing too. Gender dysphoria, I've heard, is a very real thing. And because I'm me, I have no knowledge of how it feels to feel like that. So, for the people that are genuinely out there that have those sorts of issues and have chosen to transition to what they feel is truly correct for themselves, that's awesome. That's great. Do what you think is correct for you. But personally, for me, obviously, again, like I said, I don't know any of that stuff, but I think you're born gay, you're born straight, there's men, there's women. That's all I got to say on the matter. But do what makes you happy. I'm not here to tell people that they're wrong or shame people. It's just my opinion. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. And I'm doing this podcast because I want to have an opinion. And I'm cool sharing my opinion, even though it's not the most popular opinion. I'm cool sharing it. And if you don't like it, that's okay. All you got to do, if you're on your phone, this is all you got to do. I don't like that. That's all you got to do. Let me do it for the single. Oh, I'm on my phone. Oh, I don't like that. I'm scrolling for those of you that are just listening. I'm just scrolling. Just scroll. Just scroll on past it. Maybe if you're on Instagram and you're following it and you don't like it, just unfollow it. You don't have to post hate and bullshit and start drama for no reason. Just scroll. Just unfollow. Simple as pie. Even though pie is not that simple. I don't know why people say that. Making pie is it's not very simple. Unless, I guess, you buy the crust from the store pre-made, then maybe it's more simple, but pie isn't that simple to make, I don't think. But I never made a pie, so could be wrong. You never know. Guess I gotta make a pie and see. Speaking of pie, Thanksgiving's coming up already. Can you believe it? Can you believe that it is already almost September? In 2 days? Oh, well, I guess when the podcast comes out, it'll be September? Yeah, it'll be September when this comes out. I'm filming this on Tuesday, so it's not September yet. But isn't that crazy? I feel like this year just started. I feel like I just had a baby, even though now she's getting close to 4 months old. And she's also big. She went through a growth spurt the other day. She went through a whole thing. She was eating all night long. She sleeps in bed with my fiance and I, and she was eating all night long. And then the next day she would sleep, wake up, eat, be awake for an hour, then pass out, then wake up, then eat, then pass out again. that was her pattern for that day, for that 48-hour period. It's interesting to see her go through these little things. It's really cool to see a little tiny person go through growth spurts and moments of being aware that they're a little human. Like she had a whole frustrated moment when she was trying to figure out how to lift herself up on her tummy, how to lift herself up with her arms. She went through a whole frustrated moment, and you could hear in her little squeal that she was just frustrated. It was so interesting. So, having a kid's awesome. Having a kid with my fiance is awesome. He's the best guy ever, and he's such a good dad, and it is so cool to see him be such a good dad. And it's cool because he always said that he doesn't have any baby pictures of him, right? And then this weekend we did some cleaning, and we found a ton. We found a ton of pictures of him and his brothers and his mom and his grandma and his family from way, way back in the day when they were all little chitlins. My neighbor used to say that. And that was pretty cool to see all the little pictures of him because, damn, he was a cute little boy. And he is, come again, the sexiest man I know. Sexiest man alive. My mom sent me a voice memo, though, after my last podcast. After she listened to it, she sent me a voice memo and was like, I hate to say it, but your dad is the most handsome guy in the universe. She had to top me. She had to go in and top me. But it's good she thinks my dad is the most handsome guy in the universe because, that's how it's supposed to be. I think my guy's the most handsome guy in the universe, and she thinks her guy's the most handsome guy in the universe. And to her credit, when I was little, I did want to marry my dad. I said, I fully remember being mad that I couldn't marry him when I got older, because I would say to my mom, I'm like, I'm going to marry him when I get older. And she's like, you can't. I'm already married to him. And I remember that I got really mad about that. Yeah. But it's funny because the guy that I married is my perfect dude, and I love him. And yeah, went off on a little tangent of love there, but love tangent, boop, 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 over. Yeah. So good show to watch. Love on the Spectrum, Alone. Stuff to Avoid, Man from Toronto, How to Build a Sex Room, Uncharted. All garbage. Do not watch them. Also, did any of you guys see Kong vs. Godzilla? Godzilla vs. Kong? Whatever it is now. I know that they did one and then they did another and they switched. One was one way and one was the other way. And I know that one came out a minute ago, but there was a scene that I think is hilarious, and I heard about it from the Chris D'Elia Congratulations podcast. But it gave me an idea, because there's a scene in the movie where King Kong like dies or something, or passes out or whatever. I don't know what happens to a gigantic gorilla, but something happens where he is unconscious, right? And the main character dude goes, I have an idea. What if we fly a helicopter and land it on King Kong's chest, and then we explode the helicopter? That should revive him, right? And they were all like, that's the idea. We got to do it. And so they do it, and it works, right? Okay. So I told my fiance that, and he goes, well, I mean, yeah, that would work, right? That was kind of the same idea as a defibrillator. That's the same thing as a defibrillator. And I was like, okay, let me put it in context that like makes sense, right? Because I don't like doing that. If someone were to pass out and someone went, hey, I have a little stick of dynamite. Let's put the little stick of dynamite on the guy's chest and then explode it. That should wake him up. I do believe that would explode the dude's chest. I don't think that it would revive him in any way. I think it would mess him up even more than it would help. Right? So in the sense of gigantic gorilla person and helicopter, stick of dynamite, I think it would explode the gorilla more than it would revive him, you know? But I understand it's a giant gorilla anyways. So, magic. Or science. Or whatever the story behind King Kong is. What is the story behind King Kong? Is he radioactive too? Because he doesn't have any powers like Godzilla. He doesn't have any powers. He just has giantness. You know? I mean, Godzilla's got like radioactive breath. King Kong is just a big gorilla that likes women. Also, where do you think he could get a giant banana? I don't think he could even get a giant banana. He'd probably have to eat like 1,000 regular sized bananas to make it seem like one giant banana. You know? Yeah. So, anyways, that's me. That's my thoughts on the movies and the shows. Okay, also last thing though about TV shit is Ted Lasso. OMG, such a good show. I just looked up when it's coming back, when season 3 will be out, and apparently, sorry, I just hit the microphone. Apparently, they are filming and the release date should be told either before or during the Emmys, I think is the next. Grammys? No, Grammys is music. Emmys? I think. Whatever the next movie thing is. I think it's Emmys. Because the Grammys is the music one. I'm pretty sure. I don't pay attention to that stuff enough. Because who cares except for the people that are in the industry? You know? I don't know. I don't pay attention to it because it's not applicable to me. And it's also not interesting. And I see clips of it on YouTube and Instagram later on anyway. So it doesn't really matter. You know? I see the important stuff. But yeah, Ted Lasso is such a good show. It's such a good show. This woman that used to come in to get acupuncture at the acupuncture studio I used to work at, which I've mentioned in the past episodes, episode 1, I think. She told me over and over every time she would come in, you gotta watch Ted Lasso. You gotta watch Ted Lasso. Oh, have you watched Ted Lasso yet? Oh, you gotta watch Ted Lasso. It's such a good show. She was so right. She was so right. It's such a good show. My fiance and I watched the whole thing, both seasons, and it's such a good show. It's so like feel good and comedy, and then also serious, and then also emotional, and then the characters are really good, and the actors that they have are super good. Jason Sudeikis is the lead, and then the female lead. Thank you, computer. I always forget to mute that. The female lead is this awesome British chick, and I don't know her name. But yeah, great show. So if you need a good show to feel good, to laugh at, to laugh with, to love, watch Ted Lasso. It's pretty banging. On a totally different note, my little sister, shout out to Badass Cowgirl, she is going to Vegas to compete in a barrel racing competition, big old barrel racing competition, this weekend. And funny thing about that is cowgirls, cowboys, cow people are crazy because they're like 800 plus entries or 800 entries, somewhere around there, right? They start at 8 o'clock in the morning. Her number, she got like 650 and like 702, and that's the number that she is, right? Which means she won't be racing probably until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. Isn't that insane? She's going to be riding a horse in a competition probably, hopefully by midnight at the earliest, or 1 a.m. And then there will still be people competing after her. I don't get how they do that. Like, do they switch out the judges? Do the judges get to take a break? Because that's a long ass day. And then they got to go do it again the next day. And then the day after that. You know? Also, it's like 109 degrees out there, which is crazy. But it's Vegas, so that makes sense. But still. Oof. Yeah. Just thought I'd plug that because that's pretty cool. And the kid part of me is bummed that I'm not going to Vegas with my family. But then the adult part of me that hates the hot heat is super glad that I'm not going because it's going to literally be like 110 in the daytime. My mom texted when they got there, and it was 109. And then the sun went down, and it's 103. So, yeah, still really freaking hot. And it's supposed to be in the hundreds this weekend, too. But, whatever. California. Good old California. All right. Well, it's going to be a hot one this week and next week. So, make sure you stay cool out there. Maybe get a nice cold one. Be it beer or just an iced tea. Ooh, iced tea sounds fantastic right now. I'm a genius. I have sun tea in our fridge, and we have an ice maker that just made a new batch of ice. I just heard it. So I think I'm going to have a glass of sun tea and edit this video, podcast, and all that jazz all together and get it ready to post. Yeah, I think we did good today. I'm just going to make sure that I got to make sure that I keep up with topics and ideas and things to talk about. And that's something that you got to do when you're doing a podcast, when you're doing YouTube, when you're doing your job. You just have to have things to talk about, to come up with. You got to create content. And I didn't think it would be as challenging as it has been, because the first week I was on it and had my things I want to talk about. Second week I was on it, had the story I wanted to talk about. Then last week, totally lost. Had no clue what I wanted to talk about. This week, got some things that I wanted to talk about. And then ended up talking about more shows and movies than I intended. Because you get on the ball and you get rolling. And then you just keep going, you know? I'll see ya and hear ya on the flip side, my dudes. That's what I'll leave you with. All right, episode 4 completed. Actually Homeschooled podcast with your host, Milena. We'll see you guys next week. Have a fabulous evening. Have a fabulous week. And stay cool. Peace out.